Welcome to Vision Forward's Tech Connect Live, connecting you to the world of assistive technology. And now, here are your hosts, Corey and Luke.
And hello! Welcome back. Corey, what day is it?
Today is only one of the best days ever. That means it's Thursday, September 14th, 2023. Tech Connect Live.
And guess where we are? We are in the studio on the space station Vision Forward. We are cruising high altitude.
Endeavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Endeavor.
Talking of which, have you seen Picard?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm not a huge Star Trek
Not even Star Trek Next Generation?
No, I never saw any of the TV shows. I saw a bunch of the movies.
Sure. Well, those aren't the best.
But I have not really done I know that the red shirt always dies.
Oh, yeah.
And that Scotty is not a, wait, what's his big thing? I'm not a, I forget what
he's giving her all she's got.
Yeah. I'm damn it, Jim, I'm not a.
Oh, you're thinking about Bones.
Miracle. Oh, Miracle. Is that, okay, anyways, let's continue.
Fan of Star Trek, Jonathan?
I like Deep Space Nine.
Okay, good enough.
There you go.
That's a good one.
So today we're going to be talking about the new Star Trek app for people who are
Well,
blind.
you might be able to use what we're going to show today
to get into space.
To get into space. Not sure how their mapping is just yet on space, but
it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about Lazarillo. This is not Lazarillo de Tormes.
Oh, yes.
Famous character from the Spanish book about that man who steals sausages.
Was there just one book? Like, you're just like the Spanish book.
Yeah, the Spanish book. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, supposedly it stands for, what is the...
Blind Man's Guide.
Blind Man's Guide, which makes sense why they chose the name.
Yeah.
But supposedly he liked to play pranks and he would steal people's sausages.
Well, Jonathan can give us a further rundown.
True.
Jonathan, please, can you tell us about the sausage incident?
Yes, as a scholar of 16th century Spanish literature,
Yes.
I can tell you that this Lazarillo character was a bit of a jokester. But we do have a joke today.
Oh.
Which is a farmer had been walking through his field looking to fix up his scarecrows and all that. And he noticed that he had a hole in his pocket and he had a whole bunch of root vegetable seeds in there, but he couldn't find them anywhere. They must have fallen out when he was walking. And he was looking through and then he just shrugs his shoulders, drops his hands to the ground and says, well, they'll turn up eventually.
Nice. And that was somewhat seasonal.
You know what?
Yeah.
I really believe that turnip humor is underappreciated.
Yeah, we should start a new fan club. If anybody in the chat loves turnips and likes to laugh about them, well, please put all of your turnip-related jokes in the chat.
Please turn up for our next
Oh my God.
Tech Connect.
And with that, so that's the end of the show. Thank you and goodbye. So Lazarillo, this is an app that is designed for people with vision impairments. It is available on the iOS platform and on the Android platform, Corey.
Yes, that is correct. Both platforms.
Both of those platforms. And what it does is it does GPS things. What kind of things? Well, you'll have to watch the rest of the show to find out. Corey, how much did you pay for Lazarillo?
Well, I paid $500 and then found out I got ripped off. No, Lazarillo is completely free, both on iOS, on the App Store and Google Play Store.
One of my personal favorite prices.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have your phone handy, you could actually download the app right at this moment in time, and you could actually try it out as we are talking about it. This is how you spell it. Lazarillo. You should have started a little bit of beatbox in there.
Yeah. You had a good beat going.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Something just crashed on our studio wall here. Hopefully everything's okay. So go ahead and download the app, but obviously we will be investigating its features today. And also, Corey, I'm curious to find out whether you think the Lazarillo app is better or worse than any of your preferred navigational aids.
Yeah, so I think, so diving right in, obviously GPS has always been is an important kind of tool for people who are visually impaired, especially when they're out traveling. And even if you're not doing even if you're not traveling pedestrian, walking out on your own, it's really good to have GPS going when you're in an Uber or a cab or on the bus so that you can track the progress, make sure that they're taking potentially the right route, or if you're on the bus, knowing when stops are coming and things like that.
Sure.
So you know, when the smartphone became super popular, that was always one of the things I think most people were really excited about was having better access to GPS. Although we had access to GPS back in the Symbian days and all that too. But you know, when we look at GPS apps, you might say, well, why don't we use like the Google Maps app or Apple Maps or Waze? These are well-known mainstream apps, and a lot of cases, those are good apps. I personally prefer to use Google Maps, even on on iOS.
Sure.
I tend to find it a little bit easier, more intuitive than the Apple Maps, although some of that might just be I've spent more time with Google Maps. But one of the things, the big thing that those mainstream apps don't provide that is really an opportunity for these blindness-specific apps is having more information around your surroundings, especially for areas where you're not interacting with streets. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're going on a route and you're going to be turning right onto a street. As you're walking down the road, you might be crossing other streets, but your GPS isn't going to even tell you, A, that they're approaching or even that you've passed them. They're only really going to tell you about whenever there's an action that you need to do, right? Yeah. So turn right in 50 feet on blah, blah, blah street. But from a blindness perspective, at least I think this is important. When I'm out traveling, I really like to know that that a street is coming up so that I can be aware and be ready to find that crossing and get it, you know, crossing safely. But also I like to hear those street names because it's just kind of confirmation that I'm going the right direction and just gives you more awareness of your surroundings. So that's where blindness-specific GPS apps can really shine, and that's sort of why you see Blind Square or even APH's offering in the past. And that's something that Lazarillo is going to do as well.
Excellent.
So, yeah, so I say we dive in. Should we just open the app and just dive right on in?
That sounds exciting to me. Just a quick bit of background, though.
Yeah.
This is a Chilean company. Did you know that, Corey?
Actually, I didn't. I did not, no.
Oh, it's a Chilean company. And so they, you know, that's kind of cool. I like that they're coming from a different perspective there. And it is also supports 25 different languages already.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
there's a couple cool features too. We'll open the app and some of them we'll just mention. We aren't going to really dive into them, but there's a couple things that Lazarillo is doing that's a little different too that I like.
So to hear. Let me switch over cameras here.
Yeah, for this example, for today's demo, I will be demoing on an iPhone 14 Pro. I think that's what it is. iPhone 14. We will be using VoiceOver for this demonstration. You will be hearing when we launch the app that not only is the app accessible via VoiceOver, but you're going to find that it has a lot of its own text-to-speech engine built in.
It does, yeah.
Giving us information about our surroundings.
So even if you're not using a screen reader, you're still going to get some important speech output things.
So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to use Siri to open it up. Last time I had an issue, it didn't like my pronunciation, but let's see how we do it today. Open Lazarillo.
Perfect.
Lazarillo. Favorites. You are on 5613 West Valley Forge Drive.
Every time you open the app, it just sounds like everything is kicking off all at the same time.
Well, it definitely sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Shop service. Vision Forward Store. 59 feet at 9 o'clock.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so a couple things that are happening
Point
here.
of interest. Vision Forward Association.
Okay, so we are going to
return to Siri. Stop exploration. Exploration is stopped.
Good. All right, we'll talk about what I just did in a moment, but we just need a little bit of silence here as we talk. So when we open up the app, we heard a whole party kick off there with a bunch of sound effects, and it was almost a little too much.
It sounds a bit like a casino or something like that.
It did kind of like
crazy.
we did hit the jackpot here.
There you go.
So, we also heard the text-to-speech voice kick in, letting us know what address our closest address, and that's going to happen every single time you open the app. It is going right into exploration mode, as they call it, and that is going to tell us some information about our surroundings. We heard it give our address, and then we actually started hearing it give points of interest that it was starting to see around us. Now, typically, those points of interest are usually within a mile and a half radius. But what I did is up in the top left corner of the app, is a start and stop exploration mode. I double tapped on that stop exploration just so that it wouldn't keep announcing things around us so that we could kind of talk here. So
it goes without saying, but all of this is fully accessible to your screen reader.
It surely is. That would be kind of funny if it was not, it was not super accessible. But so like most apps that we find on mobile devices, it is laid out pretty in a traditional way. We've got the tabs going across the bottom, and we'll kind of go through a couple of those. And then obviously whatever you choose down there is going to dictate or determine what the rest of the app is showing. Let's look at those tabs really fast, and then we'll pop in and actually look at kind of each of these tabs to a certain degree. So down in the bottom left corner, our first tab.
Selected. Exploration. Tab.
Is exploration, tells us that it is selected right now. That's sort of the main screen or the main one tab that we jump into. We'll go swipe right. Let's take a look at what else we have.
Favorites. Tab. 2 of 4.
For any address or location that we search up or find, there's a button, and we'll see it in a little while, where we can add it to a favorite so that if it's something that we travel to often, rather than having to search for it each and every time, we can just jump into our favorites and take a look at it.
News. 4 on red news. Tab.
Now here's one interesting thing. We have news, and this is the third tab. Lazarillo gives the ability for organizations and agencies to come in and post news updates, usually around accessibility, and it's going to only show you news updates typically for organizations or agencies around you. So if I go into news, it's not usually going to give me news things about, you know, the Chicago Lighthouse or something else in a whole different state, because it's not super relevant to me. But I like this opportunity of giving organizations, especially in the blindness field, the ability to sort of post different updates and news pieces for any user that's coming in and using Lazarillo.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of unique. It's not something we typically see in these GPS apps.
Settings. Tab. 4 of 4.
And then the last one we have is settings. In settings, we're not going to dive deep into settings today, but you're going to find some of your typical stuff. You're going to find changing it from feet, imperial to metric. You'll be able to do some work with the TTS voice that's built in, speeding it up, slowing it down, changing them, those kind of settings.
Yeah.
By default, you don't really need to make too many changes. So if you're not super comfortable diving into settings, you don't really need to. I think I needed to change it from metric to imperial, but now I can't remember off the top of my head.
I just downloaded it, and it's saying imperial.
Okay,
yeah,
good. So it must probably sees your location, and then it picks it determining.
I want to say just quickly as well, when you download the app, as you probably already expect, you do need to create an account. So you've either got to use an email address or sign in with Google or
Apple's got one as well too.
Yeah.
I always recommend, if you're on an Apple device, I love Apple sign in, creating an account, especially because you can hide. When you tap that, you have the choice of using your email or hiding your email. So you can actually create an account with a kind of throw off email that the company doesn't
I didn't
get
realize that.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice. I tend to use that Apple sign in a lot. When
Very
it's
nice.
available.
Okay, good tip.
All right, so those are the tabs across the bottom. Obviously, whatever we choose down there is going to determine what the rest of the screen is going to look like. I think the biggest screen you're going to interact with the most is this exploration screen. That's where most of the features are. So why don't we take a look at what we can do with this? So this is kind of similar to some other GPS apps if you've used them. First and foremost, when you have exploration mode turned on, as you walk around, you're going to get information about your surroundings. You're going to find out about streets as you approach them. You're also going to find out about any points of interest or POIs that are around you. Now, one of the nice things that Lazarillo allows us to do is determine how much information is given. There's a filter, and we'll look at that as we kind of move through the app. So why don't we kind of just take it button by button, because there isn't a whole heck of a lot of them. So in the top left corner,
Start exploration button.
We have our start and stop exploration mode. So again, as I mentioned before, that allows us to turn off exploration so that we don't have it kind of yapping at us, and turn it on when needed.
And it should be noted that even if the app is minimized, it will actually still be running in the background.
Yep.
And so even if you don't see the app on the screen, if you have the exploration enabled and it's playing, then it will be kind of giving you all that information.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to swipe through.
Where am I? Button.
So here we have a button, Where Am I? If we double tap.
Getting your location. You are on 5613 West Valley Forge Drive, Milwaukee, WI 53213.
So easy, super quick to figure out exactly where am I right now. It tells you the address you're at. So nice, quick way to figure out exactly what the button says.
Very simple, yeah.
Where am I?
Search. Button.
Next button here is our search button. This allows us to search for an address or a point or a name of a business. We'll do that in a moment. We'll come back to that. Let's finish up looking at this app, but the home screen here, and then we'll come back and look at search.
Category filtering for exploration. Button.
Here's that categories that I just mentioned. In here, if we double tap,
Close. Button.
we now have the ability to determine how much is spoken when we're in this exploration mode. So if we swipe through,
Help. Button. Selected. Walking. Button.
it's going to ask us, what are we changing the filter for, walking or
A vehicle. Button.
in a vehicle? Lazarillo will automatically determine when you're in a vehicle based on your speed and switch into vehicle mode for you, so you don't have to pick and choose when you're in exploration.
Strangely, it says on vehicle.
I know.
I'm kind of wondering if they expect you to be on the roof. Or...
Typically, you're in a vehicle.
Yeah,
but,
normally, yeah.
You know,
Who knows?
exactly.
Maybe in Chile, things are different. Maybe they
Might be.
ride on top of the car.
Exactly, they might. So we can determine what we're changing these filters for. So we're set for walking. Let's keep going.
Select all. Button.
So we can go ahead and select all, which is what's, I believe, chosen by default, but we're going to go ahead and change some things here.
Deselect all. Button. Reset the suggested. Button. Add category selected.
Tells us that currently we have 10 categories selected.
that's a lot.
That is a lot of information when you're walking around.
Transport. Switch button. On. Banks and ATMs. Switch button. On. Health. Switch button. On.
Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see that these are all switch buttons. Obviously, turning any of them on is going to make it so that when you're in exploration mode walking around, that category will be spoken out loud automatically. Double tapping on any of those on statuses and switching them to off will ensure that it's not yapping so much. I'll be honest, in my cases, ooh, you hear that?
That was an interesting
I think it was my phone, the good old having your phone too close. For me, I typically turn off most of these points of interest.
Yeah.
I usually just have on streets, and that's really about it by default, because that's mostly what I need when I'm walking. Yeah. But if I'm going or looking for something specific, then I might come in and turn these filters on.
Maybe you're on vacation and you'll just want to know as you're walking around, because maybe it's lunchtime and you want to know if there's any places to eat and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, a quick question then. So with your experience with other GPS apps, is this a normal thing to be able to filter out the information like this?
Not in mainstream ones, not typically, but other, I think another app that probably pops into most individuals' minds is Blind Square, and they have very similar kind of things, yes, where you can choose how much information and what information is announced automatically.
Is Blind Square also free?
No, Blind Square, I believe, is $39.99. It varies, but I think that's its normal price.
All right.
Don't quote me on that, though.
Okay.
So, all right, we're going to go back.
Close. Button.
Close this up here.
Oh, it should be noted as well, if you change the tabs from walking to on the car, it's exactly the same options there that you can toggle on and off. But actually, the default options for on car are slightly different from what I remember.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because obviously you're traveling faster.
Yeah.
And I believe maybe the radius changes a little bit too on car. So that's top right corner there is where you're going to find that filter filter content, which is really cool. But if we keep on swiping,
Vision Forward Association. Point of interest. 65 feet at 10 o'clock. Button.
now we get now I think the reason Vision Forward is popping up on my main screen here, that it's a point of interest, that it's close, is because I actually added Vision Forward as a favorite. When we get to the favorites, you're going to see it's listed in there already. So I think because we're so close, i.e. on Vision Forward, not in it, we're on it.
On it.
I think that's why I'm seeing it so close here.
I downloaded the app and it was pointing out the Vision Forward store to me.
Okay, so you have the store popping up. Yep.
Recently announced. Button.
So we have a couple categories here. We have recently announced, so you can kind of go back and review the history of what things were, that it just kind of announced for you.
Accessible locations. Button.
Now we're getting into a number of different categories that we can pick from. So we have the filters turned on or off, depending on how you have it set. But now on this main app, let's say we're looking for something specific. We can swipe through all of these different categories and really just drill down to that specific category. So let's find banks and ATMs. I think that might be in here.
Find nearby transport locations. Button. Find nearby banks and ATMs locations.
There we go. So if we double tap here,
Loading. We couldn't find nearby locations in a radius of 3281 feet.
oh, 3281. Maybe if we tried 3282.
That's the
might have
magic
found
number
something.
right there.
Okay, all right.
Now, I was having trouble with this as well, and I wonder, tell me if you think this is right.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because in order to do this, it needs to connect to the cell network, but we don't have good cell reception in here. I don't know if it would work over just the building's
Well-
Wi-Fi, would it?
Yeah, it should. Well, let's find out. Let's try. I'm going to go back and let's try a different category real quick.
Find nearby transport locations.
What about
Button.
to
Find nearby health locations.
health?
Button.
Yeah, why not?
Loading. Vertical scroll bar. One page.
No, that works
0%.
fine.
Adjustable.
So now let's
Back
see.
button.
So we'll swipe through.
Health. Heading. Aurora Healthcare Center. Medical Center. 2094 feet at 9 o'clock. Button.
So it's giving us, letting us know how many feet away it is from us, and it also gives us in a clock. Now, I also remember that in the settings you can change how those directions are given.
Yeah.
I chose clock face.
Yep.
You can do cardinal direction, relative direction, I believe, clock face. There's a couple of those that you can choose from. So again, you can kind of personalize it and tailor it to the way that you like to get directions.
Just going back to the how this works again.
Yeah.
My assumption was that it would have to be able to connect to the cell satellites because then it would know where you were. So then it's got the location it
Well, it
needs.
should be connecting to your the GPS satellite.
Right. So
Yeah.
then if you connect it, if you're in a building and you can't actually reach your cell service, does it work?
I'm guessing that most GPS apps nowadays use a combination of three things: Wi-Fi, cell connection,
Yep.
and GPS satellite.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that if you don't have one of the three, there's probably still some data it's getting.
Yeah, I only
Yeah.
asked because I had the same problem when I downloaded the app and I was looking at some of these different categories and it was having trouble locating things.
Yeah, I'm
So-
also not sure where it's pulling this data from
Yeah.
either. So who knows how up to date some of these categories are, or how you even get yourself listed. I'm guessing it's pulling it from their mapping information. But
Yeah.
so going ahead, we'll just swipe one more. Who else do we have?
Independent living supplies. Pharmacy. 2343 feet at 11 o'clock.
There we go. Let's say we want to go here. This is going to be kind of the same screen no matter if we pick it from this category list or if we did a search for a specific place. But let's open up this destination and we can take a look real quick at what that screen looks like. So we'll swipe through here.
Add to favorites. Button.
First and foremost, we can add it to our favorites. So
Excellent.
again, if we're going to come back to this at any point, or it's something we do a lot, let's add it to our favorites to make life easier.
Share place. Button.
I can go ahead and share this place. I can do it via text or email. I believe it's going to pull up your typical share sheet that you get from pretty much any iOS device when you tap share. Gives you all those kind of similar options.
Start tracking this place. Switch button. Off.
I can track this place. So when I turn that on, it's going to start giving me basically kind of relative directions to where I am to get me to that place. It's not going to give me turn by turn or walk by walk directions.
Yeah.
It's more geared for, the best example might be when you're on a bus, you might put track this location on because then it's going to sort of tell you about bus route stops as you're approaching. It's not really giving you directions because you don't need them per se, but it's more just keeping that place kind of centered on the map and bringing you closer
So
to
in
it,
your
if that
case, it
makes
would be
sense.
like something like 900 feet at 3 o'clock.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be changing. That would be changing as you move.
Also good for places when you know where you're going, but just want that confirmation.
Yeah.
You don't need turn-by-turn instructions again, but you just want to confirm that, yes, I'm kind of heading the right place.
And I think they're supposed to be accurate within like 7 steps or something like that.
Okay.
Is how they phrase
How
it.
they have the G, sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep swiping.
Address. 6100 West Blue Mountain Road. Milwaukee.
There you go, so we can get the address.
Go walking. Button.
And now we have a couple options here for actual more turn-by-turn. We have go walking.
Go by public transport. Button. Go by car. Button. Take an Uber. Button.
I do like that option.
Yeah.
Selected. Exploration.
And then we can see we jump back down to our tabs. Now,
Yeah.
each of these options will present us with a little different information. If we go back to go by walking,
Take an Uber. Go by car. Go by public transit. Go walking. Button.
we'll double tap.
A route to your destination has been found. Buttons to start route and show directions are displayed on the screen. Routes independent living.
So this actually uses Lazarillo's maps. It goes ahead and creates a walking map or directions for us. And if we swipe through,
19 minutes dash 30 to 12 feet.
takes us 19 minutes.
Back. Button. See all instructions. Button.
This I always like. This is
yeah.
really cool. I'm always a big fan of, it's one of the things I like with Google Maps too. Whenever I'm going to travel to a new place, I like to look at the route from start to finish before I leave. It gives me an idea of what route it's taking. It lets street names up in my mind. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to be turning here and there. So it's really nice to kind of look over a route before you start.
You can plan it in your head before you actually do it.
Absolutely.
Start routing. Button.
So we have our start routing. That's going to go ahead and start that route and get us going.
Start routing.
And that's it here.
Yep.
So now I won't go ahead and start the route because we're obviously not going anywhere.
No.
But it's going to give us instructions as we move through. So I'll go back to the close button here, or to the back button. That was walking.
Health.
Now if I choose,
Independent living. Start tracking this place. Address. Go walking. Go by public transport. Button. Go by car. Button.
if I do go by car, what that's going to do
Go by car alert. Choose an app.
is it's now asking us what app that we already have installed on our device do we want to use for those turn-by-turn instructions. So I should be able to find Google Maps.
Google Maps. Button. Apple Maps.
There's Apple Maps,
Waze. Button.
Waze,
Cancel. Button.
and then you can cancel. So those are the three that are currently kind of supported by. So it's not that Lazarillo is doing those driving directions. It's offloading it to those other apps.
I wonder though, does it keep you in the Lazarillo app or does it redirect you?
I think it redirects you, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, Google Maps runs, but then I think Lazarillo is still running, giving you those kind of
Points of interest.
exactly as you're moving around. So you're getting your turn-by-turn by the other app,
Yep.
but then Lazarillo is still doing it. So I
Excellent.
guess we could choose.
Apple Maps. Button.
Let's try
Google Maps.
Google
Button.
Maps real quick. What does it do? I'm assuming it goes in and starts the route.
So
here.
we do have a
Lazarillo
pop-up
installed
here.
Google Maps.
Yeah.
Cancel.
So I'm going to cancel because it is trying to open up Google
yep,
Maps
okay.
for us, which makes sense.
Go by car.
So
Button.
good. Public transport.
Go by public transport.
That's going to also open up some options.
Go by public alert. Choose an app. Google Maps. Button. Apple Maps. Button. Move it. Button.
And then,
Cancel. Button.
so the difference here is that we have Move It.
Yeah.
I think we've done I don't know if we did a past session on Move It. We've talked about it a bunch. I can't recall if we did or not. Move It is a great free app that I really like for doing bus travel. You can pick your routes, see all the stops, track your stops from one to another. So it's really cool because then obviously Lazarillo is going to open up Move It with those options already kind of picked for you, which bus stops you should use.
I really like their theme tune.
Move It? I like to move it.
Yeah, you know it.
Nice. I wish this was not live. We could edit that in right now.
Maybe Jonathan can
Yeah,
sing it.
there you
Sing
go.
it for us.
Well, I'm probably not going to sing it, but we do have some questions.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Bring
sorry.
it.
Jonathan
This
said
is-
Jonathan said he's not going to sing it, but we do have some questions.
Let me just
so-
quick say one last thing, and then we'll do it. The only other button I wanted to mention real fast was the
Go by car. Take an Uber.
take an Uber.
Now,
Obviously,
this seems like a great feature to me, Corey. Do you know, has this been available on other apps that you've looked at?
I believe I don't want to say for sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure,
It
but
seems like a great feature, though.
it is. It's really nice to be able to find where you want to go and then kind of import it into Uber.
Yeah, because the
to
thing is,
finish
like,
it off
some
then.
people struggle with that Uber app, and I'm wondering whether this would be an easier way for some people to interface with Uber. Now, obviously, you'd still have to have an Uber account and have the Uber app and have all that
all
stuff
that
set up.
But yeah, let's answer some questions, and we'll actually open it up and just see
Cool.
exactly what it looks
All
like.
right, let's do it.
All right, hit us, Jonathan.
So there's some confusion over what makes this distinct from other free GPS apps that are out there. We have someone mentioning Soundscape, which is a Microsoft
Yep.
app. And then, yeah, so how would you say that this compares to other free GPS
Well,
apps?
my understanding is that Soundscape is discontinued and no longer being developed or I'm not even sure that it works so much anymore. I do think Soundscape was a bit of a similar app as Lazarillo. I don't think it had nearly as many features as Lazarillo has. But I will say that when you say how does it distinguish itself, I think that a lot of these GPS apps, especially for the visually impaired, there's a lot of similarities because there's really only a certain amount of things you're going to do.
Sure.
One of the things that I think sets Lazarillo apart, especially from something like Blind Square, is the price tag.
Yes.
Being able to have a free app is to me is a big distinguishing.
Especially one with an easy to use interface like this. But I will also say that we have not talked about all of the features of Lazarillo yet. And one of the features, which is pretty neat, is the ability to use it for indoor navigation, which does require the use of Bluetooth beacons. So this is one of those situations where a building would need to set that up in conjunction with Lazarillo. But you can use this app for indoor navigation, and indeed, there has been some collaboration with some government entities, such as the city of Detroit and also such as Tampa in Florida, to provide some indoor navigation options, as well as actually in Tampa there is also a public park that they have specifically set up some specifically set up some navigational places. So I think that's definitely one of the interesting things with this app. It's just that type of integration, which obviously, like as with any of these things, how useful that is going to really depend on how successful Lazarillo are in making it widespread.
Well, yeah, and I mean Blind Square, also does the indoor navigation. But the point though is that it does rely on companies. Like if Vision Forward wanted us, if we wanted indoor maps, we would have to pay Lazarillo. They come out, put it all in. So it's always hard to get organizations and buildings on board doing this, and then the upkeep is. We have a really good video on Good Maps where we talk about the differences between Good Maps using LiDAR versus some of these other solutions that are relying on Bluetooth beacons and where the sort of pros and cons are. So check back in our channel and you'll find a good one on Good Maps. But
I think the thing there you go. The thing is, one of these apps surely has got to become the premier way to provide indoor navigation.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. You're right.
So maybe it's going to be Lazarillo. Who knows?
And I think, again, I come back, what I always say, it's free. Why not try it? You might love it, and you might not like it. You might think like, hey, this is sort of repetitive to something else I have. No problem. Then don't use it. But it's cool to be able to have a free option. Yeah. Any other questions, Jonathan?
Well, we have a little follow-up.
Sure.
To Soundscape. Apparently, there's a new one that is being used by a Scottish tech army. They say. I assume.
Did they get? Because I know Soundscape was part. It came out of. I believe it came out of the kind of open source thing through Microsoft. So I wonder if they picked up the code and are kind of continuing it.
What is
potential?
a tech army? And how do I join it? I'm ready. I'm ready to sign up.
Yeah, I want to be. Instead of do they not have kernels and you could have kernel. That's part of that's right. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
What are some of the different rankings in a tech army?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, I want to be a CPU.
I want to be a gigabit.
So it seems like there might be more support for a Soundscape in the UK. It looks like.
Yeah,
there are some other questions.
Yeah, please go for it.
So we have questions as to whether you've encountered any difficulties with the voiceover. Has it been working? Has been playing well with the app?
I have not had. Now I will say right off the bat, I'm not an everyday user of it. I haven't kicked the tires. Is that the saying?
That works for me.
Yeah. I think so. The experiences I've had, I've not had any voiceover issues at all. I've not used it on Android with TalkBack, but I tend to believe when it is an accessible app specifically made for the blind and visually impaired, you sure would hope screen reader support is top of their list. So I've not had any issues. Was there comments of some potential issues with voiceover at all?
No specific concerns.
Okay, good.
Generally, one of the questions they had is if it is voiceover compatible.
Yeah, completely
Seems to be
voiceover compatible. I've not had any issues. I think it's very well laid out. Not a lot of buttons, clearly placed buttons. So I think it's, I think it's a great app, especially for those who have never used GPS before. I think it's a great way to start, both from a cost and from a sort of diving in and, not a super complicated app.
Well, here's the thing, there's a lot of people who are not super good with their phones.
Sure.
But with this app, once it's downloaded, then it's already in the explore mode and it's already just telling you like a load of information without you even doing anything. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, there is a little, using Siri to open it, and right off the bat, as you explore around, you're going to be hearing, what's going on around you, approaching streets without you having to turn anything on or track anything. So I think
I like that side of things. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, Jonathan?
Just one comment.
Yeah.
That, they're a bit disappointed that everyone's using the one voice they can't stand. They want to use Alex as far as one of the.
You
voice
can
actors.
change voices, so.
Yeah, you can change
Speak and read.
languages. I assume
50
they have
languages.
voices.
Speak 55 language. English, us.
There we go.
Speaking
Hey.
60%.
We'll switch to Alex for the rest of today's. Today's. We aim to please.
I was just thinking the same
That's why
thing.
we're here.
We're almost too helpful.
Please don't ask for anything except for Alex, because those are the only two voices I've set up in my rotor right now. But we'll do Alex for the rest of we'll break it up a little bit.
I like it.
All right, we're going to quickly just jump in. I want to see, because I think this Uber is really cool.
Yeah,
I
me
want to
too.
check and see where it brings us up into Uber. Does it choose the destination already for us? So let's check it out.
Selected. Exploration. Tap. Take an Uber. Button.
There we go.
Take an Uber.
Choose Uber. Uber X. 2 minutes. 8.00 microsecond dollars. 9.00 microsecond dollars.
Now I'm going to turn
Words.
down the...
Characters. Words. Speaking rate. 55%.
Slow it down just a little bit.
Words.
Now this is interesting. So it's not bringing us this up into the app. It's actually bringing me up a pop-up asking me what type of Uber I want. We have
cool.
Uber X. Now I'm going to replay that because it was really weird.
Choose Uber. Uber X. 2 minutes. 8.00 microsecond dollars. 9.00
Microsecond dollars.
Yeah, what are MS?
That's what they use in Chile.
Microsecond dollars?
Microsecond dollars.
MSs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure why it's saying microsecond dollar. I'm not sure what that means. But I can tell that
strange.
it's 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
And it's $8.71 or $8.70. I don't remember.
Actually, it
exactly.
says between. Well, can you do it again? Because I'm confused.
Uber X. 2 minutes. 8.00 microsecond dollars. 9.00 microsecond dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's giving you a range, but
Yes.
I'm still not sure what the microsecond
dollars.
MS, what MS means. But anyways, we can see right from this screen, we can choose what type of Uber. Now, most people are going to be doing Uber X, so we're going to go ahead and choose that right away. I hope it actually doesn't call
Give
for
it a
one.
second.
Alert. Cancel. Button. Lazarillo wants to open Uber. Cancel. Open.
All right, I'm going to open it.
I assume you have to go there to pay.
Well, it needs to go in for there, but
Lazarillo
hopefully,
wants to open
hopefully it
Uber. Cancel.
doesn't go
I'm
right.
excited.
Lazarillo wants to
We may
open.
be taking a live trip to Independent Living Supplies here.
I'm going to have to see if I can cancel it. Really. That would really stink.
That'd be great.
Ooh, I
Payment
think.
method. Uber. Choose Uber X. Button.
Okay, good.
There we go.
So it is bringing me
Choose
in.
Uber X. Button.
So it's basically bringing me right to the Uber app, to sort of the screen where you would choose what type of Uber you want. So where it's saving us is that we don't have to put in the destination, and we technically don't have to choose what type of ride we want. Now, the thing is that the Uber app automatically defaults to Uber X anyways, so it's not a big savings unless you like to change it. But it does allow us to not have to mess with the destination piece of Uber.
I think it's really cool.
No, I do too. I think
like
it's
it.
I think it's nice.
Switcher. Lazarillo.
Okay, we're gonna pop back over to Lazarillo here.
Lazarillo. Independent living supplies.
Let's say again, you're on vacation,
Yes.
right? And you're just on your Lazarillo app and you're taking a look around and you find that, there just happens to be Dino's Pizza joint down the road.
Dino's Dinosaur Pizza.
Dino's Dinosaur Pizza
Yeah.
and chicken nuggets.
Yes.
Dino nuggets. And you want to take a trip and you're already in the app and you just choose Uber and off you go.
Yeah, I agree. It's a natural progression from one app to another.
Certainly is.
All right, well, so we are going to jump back again to our main screen. Let's get out of the health here.
Back button.
Okay. So we've looked at
exploration.
everything except the search. And again, the search is going to work pretty much very similar to the category feature. The only difference is we're looking for a specific place or address. So if we go up and find search,
Search button.
we'll double tap.
Text field is editing.
We're
Text
in an
field
edit
is
field here, so I can go ahead and use the on-screen keyboard, or I can use my two-finger double tap to do dictation. Let's put in, let's find where the closest Target is. I like to go to Target. Why not?
too.
Target.
5 places available.
Okay, good. Now I could do the search button at the bottom right. Otherwise, I know that some of the search results are showing up right below the search field. So I'll just kind of touch down here.
Target, Miller Parkway, West Milwaukee, WA,
There
USA.
we go. So let's say, but maybe, you know what? I don't like that Target. I like the one on High 100. Let's see if we can find that.
Target, South Chase Avenue, Milwaukee,
No.
WA. Target, West Blue Mountain Road, Brookfield, WA.
No.
Target, North 124th Street, Wauwatosa.
Well, that'll work. We'll do that one.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and double tap on it.
Target, North 124th Street, Wauwatosa, WA, USA.
Now,
Target, South.
I had
Target.
this before, which I find interesting. This did this earlier today
It
for
did
me,
close the keyboard.
but it didn't.
No, didn't do the search.
Yeah, so I think I need to do it a
Target,
second
target,
time, which I find
124th
interesting.
That is strange.
Target, North 124th Street.
But I think it
Wauwatosa,
did it again,
WA,
didn't it?
USA.
Yeah, so this is weird. It's funny, as someone said, is there an issue with, was there an issue with voiceover? I don't know that this is a voiceover
Oh, wait,
issue.
it just did it.
Back button.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
It can take a
wonder,
while,
maybe
yes.
it's taking a little bit to bring it up
That
onto
seems to
the
be what it
screen.
is.
Yeah. So if you do your search and you double tap on the search result, give it, that was a good, 30 seconds maybe?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, it's at least 21.4
15.
seconds. Give it just a moment for it to bring it up. It just might be a bit of a delay.
The bigger question here is,
Yes.
have we all become spoiled?
Oh yeah, no, there's no question.
Yeah.
If it
That's
doesn't
what I'm
happen
saying.
instantly, I'm not interested.
I don't.
I want this show to be instant.
I think. Well, instantly over.
Yeah, well.
I think.
yeah.
I think
Have you
about,
heard our show?
I think about how patient we all used to be. Like,
Oh, we're
for
not
example, when
Yeah.
turning on our Windows 95 computers, you press the power button and then we'd sit there for a while.
You went and got coffee.
Yeah.
Had dinner.
Exactly.
Hung out with your friends, watched a movie, and then you came back to send your email.
And now, if the computer doesn't turn on instantly, I'm angry.
Oh, I know. You are absolutely right.
We are so spoiled.
I'm curious, so if anyone else is using Lazarillo, put it in the comments if you see a bit of that delay. But now that we have this screen open, it looks identical to the same screen we did when we chose that Aurora Health, the independent living one pharmacy. It's the exact same screen. You're going to find if I swipe right once, we should get add to favorites.
Add to favorites.
There we
button.
go, and we'll keep going.
Share place. Button. Target, department store, 5 miles at 12 o'clock.
So again, we're getting all that same information. And I like that too. I like when there's consistency. So all of the destination screens are going to be consistent.
There is a couple of additional things here. There is a website and a phone number also.
Yeah, so the last one gave us the address,
Yeah.
the name and address. This time it has a little more information, including, you said, like the phone number and website.
Yeah.
So that, again, is a really nice way to get information too. If you're looking for a phone number, maybe you don't, you're not sure you're going to travel to it, but
Yeah,
you
you
can
just
still
wanna
use
call it.
Lazarillo to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this app might not have anything which is, groundbreaking. There's nothing really it's doing, I don't think, that other apps don't do. But the thing is, number one, it's free, obviously, but also it's nice to have choice. Like maybe you prefer the interface of this one for some things, or maybe the way that it gives the information is more useful for you. And so it's just nice to have these options, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, so why not give it a download? It's free.
It is
iOS,
free.
Android, give it a try, and let us know what you think.
Any other questions from the comments section there, Jonathan, before we wrap it up?
Nothing too specific.
Okay.
Generally, questions about how accurate the GPS is.
Yeah, they do say within 7 steps.
Yeah, which is about,
So-
that's going to be the same for any most GPS apps are all tapping into the same GPS chip on the device, using the same satellite. So typically, you're going to see a lot of times you're going to see these apps have kind of the same performance and same accuracy.
Yeah.
Obviously depends on, indoor, outdoor, all that's going to make the same difference too. So.
All right, well, let's wrap it. It's 11:45,
Wrap
so time to wrap up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We hope you will give Lazarillo a try, because
Please.
we do receive $5 for every download.
That's actually not true. But if you do like Lazarillo, shoot Lazarillo an email and let
Yeah.
them know that you would like to exchange your sausage for turnips. And that you heard about Lazarillo from Vision Forward's Tech Connect, and then maybe they'll call us and say thank you.
Hopefully
'Cause I
people,
like thank yous.
hopefully people remember the Lazarillo de Tormes thing at the start. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're going to be really
Just
confused about
remember
the whole
sausage and
turnip
turnip.
situation. Cool. Yeah. So feel free to check out our YouTube channel and see the other
Yeah,
videos. We have a number of them.
Our last video we posted last week Thursday was on Tubi,
Tubi.
a free app for iOS and Android that gives free access to movies and TV shows.
Indeed.
Not your typical ones, but if you're in the
some
mood
interesting
to
ones.
find about an obsessed assistant,
Oh, yeah.
Tubi is the place to go.
And if you're interested about how accurate my Godzilla impression is, well, you're going to have to watch that video to find out.
Yep. And then next week we'll be releasing a video on the Reboca app.
We will.
Which is a free app that provides turns your iPhone into an electronic electronic CCTV. Find out how it compares to the built-in magnifier app.
I'll give you a clue. It's very similar.
Gosh,
No, sorry. No, watch the video.
There's something insane happens in that video.
It sure does.
You need to watch it.
I don't remember it happening, but I believe you.
End.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of this video, so if you're tuning in just to watch me,
Yeah.
you'll have to wait another couple of weeks. I totally understand.
This will be a good test,
why I
actually.
tuned
We
in.
can see how well the numbers stack up. Do more people watch it because it's just me, or do less people watch it?
I'll give you $20 to keep it unlisted, Jonathan.
How much are you going to give me?
We'll talk about it afterwards. All right, well, thanks everybody for joining us. Join us again in 2 weeks' time. We will be here live at 11 a.m. Central. What we will be talking about, nobody knows, but keep your eyes peeled for an email blast that will tell you all about it, or just join the show without knowing, because that will make it even more exciting than normal.
If you want more information on assistive technology, head over to our online store. Head over to our online resource, techconnect.vision-forward.org. One last thing really quick, I should have said this at the top. Vision Forward is looking for a certified orientation and mobility specialist.
Yes.
We have an opening here. You could come to Milwaukee, work directly with Luke and I.
Don't put them off.
I want to say that I will be your supervisor. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Again, don't put them off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never mind. You can choose your who supervises you. If you're interested, head over to vision-forward.org/employment. Please take a look. We'd love to have you join our team if you are a comms.
We sure would. And with that being said, it's time to skedaddle. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us for another Tech Connect Live. If you enjoyed Corey and Luke's antics, be sure to join us next time. For all things Tech Connect, go to vision-forward.org/techconnect.